Yo, what's up guys, AJC here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Conor McGregor again making fun and exposing Jake Paul. But you're going to want to watch till the end because I reveal messages that have been leaked between Jake Paul and a certain boxer, hinting at maybe his next opponent, because as we all know, Jake made an announcement about having another fight coming up with Triller. But before we get into it, if you want more videos on the Jake Paul and Conor McGregor beef, make sure you like this video, and if we can hit 5k likes then I'll drop another video to this series as soon as possible. Also, if you want more YouTube news like this, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. But besides that, let's get straight into today's video. So as we all know, Conor McGregor has an upcoming fight with Dustin Poirier, but probably by the time I upload this video, it's already happened. But with Conor arriving at the UFC Fight Island, a lot of interviewers asked the same old question to Conor on his thoughts on Jake Paul, and what he has been doing lately in trying to get Conor's attention and get him to fight. So here's what he had to say.
Got YouTubers calling you out, mate.
That is what it is. We'll see what happens, you know. That's it. I'm not really. He seems like a confused little kid to me, to be honest. Now he's willing to get in, so I'm not. I don't know what'll happen. It's not on the radar at the minute with the young lad. I know I have a teammate that him and Dillon have been back and forth, so you never know.
What was interesting to see from this part of the interview is that Conor can see right through what Jake Paul is doing. I don't think it gets any more savage than calling a guy who wants to try and fight you a confused little kid. But what was noticed by a lot of fans from this clip is that Conor didn't completely shut down the idea of one day fighting Jake Paul. He said that it's not on his radar because firstly, he does have a fight coming up against Dustin, so he's completely focused on that. But this got a lot of people speculating whether this fight can actually be a possibility if Jake plays his cards right. But Conor continued on to say this about the situation.
But I'm excited to see, fair play to them. Fair play to the Logan guy getting in with Floyd. I'm excited to see how that goes. Floyd looks a bit fat to me, man. It's a mad little scene at the minute, isn't it? But I'm not against it. Any man that is willing to make that walk, all the best to him.
So from Conor's words, it seems that he really believes Logan has a chance to beat Floyd Mayweather. I get that Logan Paul is taller, bigger, and has experience in the fighting field, but Floyd is a world-class boxer, but it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. But by the way Conor is now, especially when heading into this fight with Dustin, you can tell he isn't the same as this Conor McGregor.
Who the is that guy? Who the is that? No damn well who I am. Who the is that? Oh my God. Mayweather versus McGregor. Well, round 49, you look about 160 and all. You look thrown there.
Now, I don't really know what happened, but it seems that Conor has taken a new approach to everything when it comes to the fighting scene. Maybe the old Conor McGregor would have already roasted Jake Paul to the ground by now, but the Conor McGregor we know today just takes this as a grain of salt and doesn't pay any attention to Jake Paul. Speaking of roasting people, Dillon Morin still wasn't done giving it to Jake Paul and was on BBC News and had this to say about Jake.
Jake's had a pop at a couple of fighters around the world, and what annoys me is like the fight game is nothing to be joked about. I know what goes into it and what's asked of people, and the progression in it, like it's a mad business. It's a tough game, and to see this guy swanning around America, doesn't know what it's like to have it tough. Do you know what I mean? Disrespecting guys all over the internet and thinking there's not going to be a backlash off it. Yeah, I don't like that part of it. Jake Paul wouldn't last a round in the ring with me. I don't need to say that. You need to be held accountable for stuff like that.
The funny thing about this situation is that Jake Paul still hasn't responded to Dillon Morin's offer, and I'm starting to think that Jake Paul is scared himself to actually accept this fight since there is no money on the line. And it's just purely to see who is the better boxer, but I think we all know who's actually going to win. This is really what exposes Jake, that he is clearly trying to get this fight with Conor just for clout and for money, and not because he actually thinks he's the better boxer. Because if he loved the sport of boxing, then he would accept this fight from Dillon, but he continues to be scared and run away from it. Jake, however, hasn't addressed anything in regards to Dillon, but still decides to go after Conor, so this is what he said on his Instagram story.
Calling you out, mate.
That is what it is. I'm
scared.
We'll see what happens,
Scared.
That's it. I'm not really. He seems like a confused little kid to me.
Yes, I am confused as to why you don't want $50 million. And you're taking $5 million to fight a bum.
It's not on the radar at the minute.
He's scared.
I have a teammate that him and
I'm going to knock
so you never know.
You the fuck out.
Okay, now I don't know why Jake Paul talks like that, but he sounds like he doesn't even know the English language. But of course, he continues to run his mouth in saying Conor McGregor is scared to fight Jake, when in reality, Jake is scared to fight Dillon more. There is a big difference between being scared and not interested. A man who has single-handedly almost beat the whole UFC roster is definitely not scared of a YouTuber who has no hairline and is covering it up through his fringe, but that's just my opinion. Jake continued to try and get Conor McGregor's attention and posted this on his Instagram.
Yo, you see that shit?
Oh yeah, he's a bitch.
Bro.
So I don't know what's going through Jake Paul's head, but he managed to make himself even look worse than he already does. A lot of the comments on his Instagram post were just roasting him, and this one guy said desperate as F, another one said cringe as F, and my favorite one was from another guy saying Conor McGregor living rent-free in your head. Speaking of someone living rent-free in Jake Paul's head, Danis actually exposed some of the messages they've been having back and forth between Jake and Danis. So Jake Paul messaged Danis and said 1. You wouldn't know how to do business is done because you're broke. 2. To sign an offer, you have to send it through email, you effing jackass. You should be honored you even got an offer. 3. Yes, my manager talks to your manager, but no one from your side has ever said you wanted to do it and is blaming it on your knee injury from 6 months ago. Bro, I broke my nose 2 months ago. Should I not fight you cause of that? 4. No one cares what date you want. You're fighting me. I'm not fighting you. You're replaceable as F and you have to accept that. The fight date is gonna be in March. Take it or leave it. I feel bad for you, little bro. You really broke and down bad and clout chasing. 5. If you have this horrible knee injury, how come you running at the back of my pickup truck? Not to mention you sparring on your Instagram. So Dillon actually messaged Jake Paul this. Number 1. The only business you have done was Team 10 and we know how that went. Don't make me tell everyone why Cole Carrigan really got kicked out of your house, eggplant emoji and peach emoji. Number 2, DM or email isn't legit. Literally, your manager is offering crap deals to mine. Maybe fire him then. It makes no sense that your own manager is saying different things than you. Everything goes through managers. If you were actually in the fight game, you would understand. Maybe the Disney Channel does things different. This is the hurt business, not show business. 3, you broke your nose smelling one of your boys' a-holes then passing out. You can still literally do every sport with a broken nose. I'm the fighter. You're the sideshow, and at the end of the day, I'm going to be a world champion and you will be boxing NBA rejects that train for 2 months. 5. If my leg was healthy, I would have jumped on the back of that truck and would have danced all over your heads. Sparring is part of my rehab. Can't do anything serious. If you actually were a fighter, you'd understand. So there seems to be a lot of hidden disses between the two exchanging messages, like when Dillon said, don't let me reveal why Cole Carrigan got kicked out of the house, while using an eggplant emoji and a peach emoji. Now, I don't know about you, but I think when you use those two emojis together, we all kind of know what they mean, but you're gonna decide for yourself. But at the end of the day, I really feel that Jake doesn't know what he's got himself into when it comes to the whole fighting scene. Yes, he box YouTubers and it's simple as, you fight and whoever wins wins, but with really pro boxers, they will expose you and beat you if they can. I reckon give it a couple more weeks and we shall see where Jake Paul is and if he gets exposed more and more as the days go by. Maybe by Ben Askren, maybe by Danis, or maybe even by Conor McGregor himself. But thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think, and I'll see you soon.